Hello there, and welcome to the show, and today I'm going to be talking about WWE NXT, The Great American Bash. The Great American Bash was the most recent premium live event from NXT, the second show WWE held on July 12th, 2025 to counter-program All In, one of 3 shows taking place on that day, as well as the 4th show in the span of that weekend, as well as the 6th overall show if you include Friday. WWE and AEW held 6 shows in the span of 3 days. That is insane. And this is counter-programming, and this has been confirmed. There is an active mission in WWE to counter-program AEW, and most recently they announced that Heatwave is going to be competing with Forbidden Door, and this is competition in its finest form, having shows go head-to-head. Is it petty? Yes, but it's just something that we're going to be seeing a lot of. The show took place live from Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia. This arena can hold a maximum capacity of 775 people, so I'm just going to assume that's what the attendance was. Let's talk about the show. The show started off with Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy. I wasn't very impressed with this match. I thought that this was a pretty weak opening match. The story of this match was Javon Evans trying to overpower Jasper Troy, and he eventually did. Evans hit a German suplex and followed that up with a frog splash for a 2 count. Troy caught a cutter into a chokeslam, and then Evans rolled up Troy for the win. Javon Evans won this match. Javon Evans is the guy I see taking the championship off of Obafemi, so they have to give him a couple of big wins to make that moment more believable. I wasn't very impressed with this match. Not to say that this was a bad match, this was fine. This match to me didn't set the tone very well for the Great American Bash. Following that, we got Sol Ruca versus Izzy Dame. This was for the NXT Women's North American Championship. This match started off with Zarya and Tatum Paxley brawling. That led to Izzy Dame taking the advantage. She actually hit a sit-out powerbomb. Sol Ruca caught a rope break by the 2 count. Ruca hit a running knee for a 2 count. Izzy Dame hit a big boot for a 2 count. Izzy Dame hit a second rope code breaker for a 2 count. Ruca hit a face buster off the top rope. That was very impressive. Dame hit a chokeslam and an inverted suplex for 2. Ruca hit a spear, but there was a rope break. Tatum Paxley caused some interference. Zarya then hit a spear on Paxley on the outside. And closing sequence saw Ruca delivering the Soul Snatcher for the win. Ruca retains the NXT Women's North American Championship. This was a fine match. I actually thought this match was better than Evans versus Troy. I feel that we're eventually gonna get to Sol Ruca versus Zarya at some point for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Zarya more than likely will turn heel. These two will face off for the NXT Women's North American title. This match with Izzy Dame, I thought this was a solid match. This was pretty good. Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints, Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship. Ethan Page beat Ricky Saints on NXT TV to become the North American Champion. Ricky won a gauntlet match against the Vanity Project to make this a Falls Count Anywhere match, and that's how we ended up here. Ricky Saints attacked Ethan Page while he was making his entrance, and it was off to the races from there. This was, in my opinion, the best match of the night. They made great use of the Falls Count Anywhere stipulation. Page took a trash can from the audience and attacked Saints with it. They brawled in the crowd. Then they go from the crowd to the concession stands, and Saints hit Page with a bin. Ethan Page then rammed Ricky Saints into a pillar. Page locked in a Boston Crab at the concession stands. Ricky then hit an F5 through the merchandise table. That got him a 2 count. Page then wrapped a chair around Ricky's neck and threw Ricky into the ring post. Saints used a fire extinguisher. Saints body slammed a barricade onto Ethan Page, and he stomped the neck of Ethan Page. Page hit a back body drop on Saints onto 2 chairs. Page hit a suplex on Saints into a barricade. That got him a 2 count. Saints powerbombed Page on 4 chairs. They fight this time in the backstage area. They showed Jasper Troy. Saints then hit a dropkick using a pull-up bar, and then Jasper Murtroy attacks Ricky Saints, hits him with a black hole slam. Saints hit a tornado DDT on the stage for a 2 count. That was very impressive. And closing sequence, Ethan Page hits Ego's Edge on Ricky Saints off the stage through 2 tables for the win. Ethan Page retained the North American Championship, and like I mentioned, to me, this was the best match of the night. And after this match concluded, I thought to myself, it is genuinely amazing to me that Tony Khan had both these guys on his roster for years and practically did nothing with them, especially Ethan Page, for the duration of their runs in AEW. Contract signing for the TNA World Championship match at Slammiversary, Trick Williams, Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana. All 3 guys cut promos. Santana's promo was the best one in my opinion. Joe Hendry and Trick Williams cut very good promos as well. And after the contract signing ended, Santana and Hendry attacked Trick Williams, double back suplex through the table, and following that, they were attacked by Dark State, and that's how this contract signing segment ended. This was a pretty good segment in my opinion, and was a nice build towards Slammiversary. Trick Williams did retain the TNA World Championship. I could potentially see at Bound for Glory them doing Trick Williams versus AJ Styles, because Trick Williams had a segment with The Undertaker, and AJ Styles was The Undertaker's final opponent, and AJ is synonymous with TNA, so I feel like doing AJ Styles versus Trick Williams for the TNA World title at TNA's biggest show of the year, that's where I see them going with Trick Williams as the TNA World Champion. This was a very good contract signing. Obafemi versus Yoshiki Inamura for the NXT Championship. Before this match, there was a backstage segment. Josh Briggs told Inamura by any means necessary, but Inamura wanted to win with honor. This was a very good match. To me, this was the second best match of the night. Oba hit a fallaway slam, and then Inamura immediately got up. Inamura hit a dive off the apron. Oba hit a big ending that got him a 2 count. Oba hit a spinebuster for 2. Inamura then hit a suplex, some sumo-style offense, and a series of strikes. Inamura hit a bridge German for a 2 count. Obafemi hit an uppercut on Inamura, which took out the referee. Briggs then hit Oba with the NXT Championship belt. Inamura wanted to go for the splash, but he saw Briggs with the championship and they started arguing. Inamura eventually hit the splash, but there was no referee to make the count. Briggs was yelling at Inamura to capitalize, but he hesitated. Oba hit a choke slam for 2. Inamura countered a fall from grace with a chop to the head. That was a very good counter. Inamura hit a sit-out powerbomb for a 2 count. Obafemi took out Josh Briggs. Inamura rolled up Femi for a 2 count. Closing sequence saw Obafemi hit fall from grace for the win. He retained the NXT Championship. No surprise there. To me, this was the second best match of the night. This was a very entertaining match and had some nice storytelling showing the story with Briggs and Inamura. This was followed up on NXT, where they booked a triple threat championship match with all 3 of these guys that Obafemi won. I do see Josh Briggs versus Yoshiki Inamura taking place at Heatwave. They could book Javon Evans versus Oba at Heatwave, because at Heatwave last year, Evans was so close to becoming the NXT champion. They could write a storyline where it's like 1 year to when he almost won the championship. This was a very good match. Our main event, tag team match. Fatal Influence, represented by JC Jane and Fallon Henley versus Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. This was the in-ring debut for Blake Monroe, as well as the lead-in to the NXT Championship match that took place on Evolution the next night between Jane and Grace. Jordan Grace has new entrance music. Apparently, the reason behind this was WWE thought her old theme was too similar to Braun Breaker's theme, and WWE has this thing where they like to own the rights to entrance music, but this new theme song is just horrible. If you ever needed more proof that Def Rebel were terrible, Blake Monroe's theme suits the character, but it has this annoying auto-tune thing. Def Rebel can't be fired soon enough. This was a pretty good tag team match in my opinion. Third best match of the night. This was a pretty solid match. This was a pretty good match. We got Let's Go Blake chants when Blake tagged in. JC Jane caused a distraction on the apron, allowing Jasmine Nix to attack Blake. Fatal Influence took control. Grace hit a double Northern Lights suplex on Fatal Influence, very impressive. Jane hit a big boot on Grace on the outside. Fatal Influence took control again. Grace hit a rolling Death Valley driver. JC Jane hit a senton off the apron on Blake Monroe. Fallon Henley hit a blockbuster for a 2 count. Grace hit a spine buster. Monroe hit a knee strike on Henley. Henley hit a spear from the ramp into the ring on Grace. Monroe hit a German suplex on JC. Masha Slamovich came out to take care of Jasmine Nix. They brawl on the stage to the backstage area because Masha was going to face the winner of this match at Slammiversary for the TNA and the NXT Women's Championships. Fatal Influence hit a move similar to Meet Them in the Middle for a 2 count. Jordan Grace broke up that pin by spearing Fallon Henley. And then closing sequence of this match. Jordan Grace hits a back fist followed by a DDT by Blake Monroe for the win. Monroe and Grace win this match. Blake Monroe's debut, she was obviously not losing, and they were gonna give Jordan Grace a win before going into the championship match at Evolution Storytelling 101. This was a pretty good match. Like I mentioned, to me, this was the 3rd best match of the night. Overall, NXT Great American Bash 2025, a pretty solid show. This show had a couple of good matches, especially that False Count Anywhere match. That was great. And this was a solid show in my opinion. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Instagram at Said_2000, and I will see you on the next video. Till then, take care.